Hello there, Year 8. Today's topic is Poland, so this is geography. Poland is right behind me, you can see it on the map. The size is more than 3 times bigger than Hungary's size, so it's a relatively big country in Central Europe, and the population is 37 million people, so almost 4 times bigger than Hungary's population. Big market in the EU. Why? Is it an EU country? Yeah, officially they are EU members since 2004, like Hungary, 1st of May. Can you remember that? Okay, look at the borders of the country. In the north, you can see the Baltic Sea, which has a really flat seashore with a lot of sand. After that, we can just move on, and you can see something strange. Russia is bordering the country in the north, but it's not the whole size of that country, it's just an exclave, so a smaller part of Russia is right there. Then Lithuania and Belarus are there in the northeast, and then the Ukraine. In the south, Slovakia, the Czech Republic, and you can see that Germany borders the country as well. So, this is a relatively big country. Let's have a look at the geographical features of the country. The most important thing is that it's relatively flat. In the north, you can find the big Polish plain, and it has smaller parts. Lakelands are the smaller parts because ice during the Ice Age basically formed this area, so there are plenty of smaller and bigger holes in the surface, and these are perfect for precipitation to be accumulating there, and there are plenty of lakes in the region. So Pomeranian lakeland and Masurian lakeland are famous for these things. Then if you move further south, we can see hillier areas, and the bigger mountain ranges are coming up next. The Polish Middle Mountain Range and then Lower Silesia. These are kind of really mild hill ranges with a lot of hillocks and smaller mountains. In the southwestern part of the country, on basically at the border with the Czech Republic, you can find another mountain range, the Sudetes. Sudetes is Sudéták in Hungarian. Silesia is Silesia, and Lower Silesia is Alsó Silesia, and then the Polish Middle Mountain Range is Lengyel Középhegység. In the deep south, you can find the Carpathian mountain ranges with the tallest peak, which is Rishi. It's smaller than 3,000 meters, so it's not that tall. So basically, these are the most important parts. Of course, we could mention some more, but now let's have a look at the rivers. The biggest ones are right here on the map. The Vistula River flowing to the north, then the river Vorta, and then the river Oder or Odera in Hungarian. Now that we have all these, I would like to show you some pictures of these areas. I hope you can see my iPad. So, can you guess which part this is? Really flat area, yeah? So it's the Polish plain in the north, yeah? The Pomeranian lakeland and the Masurian lakeland with a lot of lakes. Okay, what about the next area? Let's see. Oh, you can see the lakes there. So it's a different image. Then the next part could be, I'm just checking the book because I don't want to tell you things which are not there in it. Yes, this is a really nice part. The seashore of the Baltic Sea. Yeah, and then the mid-mountain ranges, Sudetes, yeah, near Silesia, we mentioned that. And the tallest part in the Carpathian is Rishi. The Hungarian name of Rishi is Tengerszem csúcs. You know, Tengerszem is like a tiny little lake in mountain ranges formed by ice. They have really nice bluish color. So this is why they call them tengerszem in Hungarian language. So Rishi is the tallest peak, Carpathian mountain range. Okay, I think we could speak about the most important geographical names concerning the landscape. Now we can move on. We can talk about resources. But before we mention resources, I would like to show you an old black and white photograph. The person here who became the leader of the country back in the 1980s is Lech Walesa, who was a miner. You know, the Polish were the first who were fed up with the difficulties and hardships of communism, and because they have serious debts and people had less and less money, there were uprisings, and one of the leaders of these uprisings was basically Walesa, a simple miner. Later, he became the leader of the country. This is a rather unique story because in Poland, the collapse of communism was something which happened much earlier than elsewhere. So from this point of view, it's really a revolutionary country. So if I mention that Walesa was a miner, you can find out something very simple. Black coal is an important resource in the country. You can see an image of that here. And I would like to show you one more thing. Yeah, sulfur, which is cane, also huge quantities in Poland. Then one more important thing is salt, rock salt. They have a gigantic mine in Wieliczka, which is near Krakow, so this region here, and they still export this resource. I would like to show you an image of the mine, which is rather nice. There are even different big halls there for the general public, so it's a perfect place for tourists as well. There are even churches. Don't forget, please, that the Polish are deeply Catholic. And now it's time to mention that one of the popes was a Polish man. And can you remember his name? Yeah, Pope John Paul II. Karol Wojtyla was his original name. I mean, of course, they didn't write that he was the Pope in his ID card. The kind of infamous story about him, he was the first Pope who was really the Pope of the folks. So he was jogging in the garden, he wanted to meet the people, but this brought him bad luck. He was almost assassinated back in the 1980s by an extremist. And after this assassination actually is on YouTube, you can check the video, though the quality is not that good, luckily. So finally, he was okay, so he wasn't killed, and he met the man who wanted to assassinate him, and he forgave him. So that's really special story about Poland, but the Polish are still really deeply Catholic, important to note. Then, what else do they have? We mentioned the Baltic Sea. It's not just important from the point of view of transportation, but also there are gigantic oil rigs there, so it has oil. It also has some natural gas in some parts of the country in the southwestern part. But oil is really important. Okay, maybe we can mention the city of Gdańsk in the north. Shipbuilding is still important there. Can you find that here on the map? So Gdańsk is the shipbuilding center and the big port. Similarly, there's one more city, Szczecin in the north, which is also famous for shipbuilding. Okay, what else is important? You know, there's a gigantic, huge industrial zone in the southern part with a lot of smaller and bigger cities. Krakow is the old capital, but as you can see, there are lots of different symbols for industries here in the region, from Wałbrzych, Wrocław or Wrocław, and Częstochowa and Katowice, and so on. Lodz is another big industrial center. Textile industry was always famous in the region. You know, it's because of the climate. Not too hot in summer, and there's plenty of rain. Precipitation is important. Winters are quite cold. So when you have this kind of climate, actually you can produce certain plants which are excellent for producing fabrics and textiles. And in Lodz there was a huge textile factory. Now they converted this factory into a shopping mall. The name is Manufaktura, that is the name of this place. But there are plenty of shops there where they sell different fabrics and textiles. Do you know the old name of fabrics and textiles in American English language? They were called dry goods. So when you hear this term dry goods, it's actually textiles and other fabrics. Okay, now we mentioned most of the important resources. You can read about some more in your book on page 52 and 53. We also mentioned certain things about agriculture and climate. One more important thing which they produce is potato, which likes this kind of climate there. And do you know this plant? It's called rye. Rye is rozs in Hungarian, and even in Hungary we can make some rye bread from that, rozs kenyér, perfect with goat cheese. Yeah? Then, what else to mention? Big producer of sugar beet. You know, when you buy sugar in Europe, it is made from this plant. We don't have sugar cane because sugar cane doesn't like our climate. Now we mentioned the most important agricultural products as well. So then just an image of the old capital, Krakow. This was the market square there. And today's capital is Warsaw. This is the Palace of Culture and Science, one of the emblematic buildings in the city. Now I think you are able to complete the tasks in your workbook. Page 56, task 1 and 2. You can use this map and you can find all the important geographical features, landscapes of Poland. And after that, you can start working on page 57, task 3, 4, 5 and 6. Please use your textbook as well on page 52 and 53. If you completed all this, please read the text again. So, that's it about Poland in a nutshell. See you next time. Bye-bye.